So we're going to start with the grammar part in our lecture this week. Again, there are two things that I have to remind you with. The writing homework assignment, because it's graded and the grade will be added to semester 3. Do not forget it. The poem on Flipgrid, these are obligatory. You are obliged to do them. Okay? They are not optional. But the reading competition that I sent as a link 15 minutes ago on the parent group is optional for those just who would like to participate. Okay? Again, I remind you that on Friday, the quiz will not include the grammar or writing. It will include comprehension that we covered last week, and we're going to solve the worksheet on Thursday, or if we still have time at the end of the session, we're going to start with it. So let's start with our lesson. Its title is verbs. So we're going to talk about verbs and the different types of verbs. We have action, helping, main, and linking verbs. You can resort to your grammar booklet, ISI Phonics Grammar Booklet Part 2. The lesson starts page 30. Start page 30. Okay, these are the objectives. So, before I read the definition or you read the definition, guys, who would like to tell me what a verb is?
Me.
Yes,
Me.
yes, Emma.
Me.
A verb is when a person or something is doing an action.
Uh-huh. Here you define the action verb. So it's the action that the subject does it. You mean it's the action that the subject does it. So the verb is a word that tells what the subject does or did. This is the action verb. Okay. So verb is one of the most important parts of the sentence. Why it's very important? Because without a verb, I would not have a complete sentence because I would not know what the subject is or has done. For example, the boy jumped on the trampoline, the boy on the trampoline. Which one you understand better?
The boy jumped on the trampoline.
On the trampoline.
Okay, so you see the verb is very important. It's always found in the predicate. As I explained before that the predicate starts from the verb till the end of the sentence. So the verb is the first word in the predicate of the sentence, the main verb. And a verb that shows action is called an action verb. So you see, the verb that shows action. Action means there is physical movement. There is something that requires physical activity from the subject. Okay. For example, the teacher explains the lesson. Okay, explains. It requires physical movement. It requires physical activity from me. So this is an action verb. Who can give me examples of action verbs?
Me.
Come on, tell me what.
The boy ate an
I want
apple.
just ate. I want just the verb. I want just the verb.
Okay.
Ate. Other than ate, guys,
Ran.
run.
Run.
Other than run,
Walk.
Study.
study, wash,
Play.
play.
Run. Jump.
Read, ya Malak. That's
Jump.
right. Jump. Yes. What else?
Learn.
What? Man?
Learn.
Man?
Buy.
Just a second.
No, learn.
Just a second. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Who said man? Man.
No, miss, I said learn.
Learn. Yes. Learn. Run. Right. Okay. Bravo. So all of these are action verbs because they require physical activity. Let's move on. So let's take some examples of action verbs. Cough. Do you know what we mean by cough? This is an
Yes.
action. Okay.
Sure.
Swallow. You swallow the food, for example. Run. When you wake someone up, so he or she is awake. So this is an action verb. You ride a bike. You ride a horse. Okay, you sing. Singing is an action verb. And notice something that the action verbs can be in simple present or in past. Okay, it's not necessary to be in one tense. They can be in present or they can be in past. So this is a reminder. An action verb that describes an action that's happening now is called present tense verb. I just want to remind you that the verbs can be in the in the present or in the past. Okay.
The
Example,
internet is very bad.
what?
The internet is very bad.
Maybe. Okay. So the bird flies through the sky. Flies, this is happening now or it happens in the present. So I have to put the verb in the simple present. I'm reminding you with this tense because I want to remind you how to write the verb correctly according to the subject. So flies is a present tense verb because it's happening right now. So when we have a singular subject, if you still remember, if we have a singular subject, some verbs should take s, but some verbs take es or ies. It depends on what they end with. Okay. So if the verb ends with o, s, h, c, h, x, o, or z, what does it take, guys? Do you still remember?
Yes, ES.
Yes, excellent.
Yes.
But when does it take IES?
When
When
there's
it's
Okay,
Y.
Y.
one. Okay, I want just one student. Okay, Malak,
Yes,
do you remember when the verb takes IES?
yes. Um, when
When?
there is a Y.
Y at the end. Okay, only Y. Whenever it has Y.
No,
What else?
when
What?
Y there is a vowel.
No, if it's preceded with a consonant letter. Pay attention, guys. Whenever I want to remove the Y, there should be a consonant letter before it, not a vowel letter. Okay? So the
Yes,
verb
it's so
takes
easy.
IES. The verb, I know, it's not necessary to make like this comment. Okay. When the verb ends with Y and the Y is preceded, we mean there is a consonant letter before the Y, then I have to cross out the Y and add IES. These are reminders, just reminders for you. This example, splash, ends with sh, so it should take es. So sleep ends with any consonant letter, it takes only s. Cry ends with y. Cry ends with y, and notice that before the y we have a consonant letter r, so we have to cross out the y and add I, E, S. Okay? And if the action verb, I'm still talking about the action verb, the verbs that express action. If is it talking about an action that happened and finished, we say that it is a past tense verb. Example, the bird flew and it twittered through the sky. The twittering, when the bird sings or makes sounds, so we say it's a twittering. The bird flew and it twittered through the sky. So if you notice that these two verbs, flew and it twittered, are action verbs and they are in the simple past tense because they happened and finished. Notice that one verb took ed, the other changed. So if you still remember that we said we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs, the regular verbs take ed, the irregular verbs change on their own. Okay, these are the action verbs. Till now, any questions about the action verbs? Guys, any questions?
No, it's no.
Okay, so just the action verb is the verb that
No.
expresses action, physical movement, physical activity. Thank you. Okay, this is another example. So you see, a splash took ed, a cry. Also here we crossed out the y and we added ied. Sleep becomes slept. Now I move to the linking verb. Pay attention to this. When I say link, I'm linking things together, so I'm connecting things together. But what do we mean by linking verb? When we say linking verb, it acts like an equal sign. It makes the subject equal to the predicate. Why? Because here the subject is not doing an action. There is no action here, but I want to tell something about the subject, or I want to say that the subject is like something else. So I should use what? I should use a linking verb. Okay? And the linking verb, after any linking verb, there should be a word that tells another word that tells about the subject. So in other words, I have a subject and I want to tell something about this subject. So I use a linking verb. And after the linking verb, I will find a word, a noun, or an adjective that tells about the subject itself. Okay, if it's a noun, then it renames the subject. If it's an adjective, then it describes the subject. Or so we can say that the subject and the predicate are equal when I have a linking verb. What are these linking verbs? The linking verbs are the verb to be in all its form. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. These are the linking verbs. And also the verbs that do not have actions. In other words, that are related to the senses are called linking verbs. The verbs that are related to the senses, like taste, smells, looks, feels, sounds, seems, and we still have more and more. Okay? So in order to know the difference between a linking verb and an action verb, who's talking? Who's talking? Okay. You ask yourself, is the verb expressing an action, or is it telling me something about the subject here? If it's telling me what the subject is doing, then it's action. But if it's telling me an idea or an information about the subject itself, then it is linking. Okay? So this is the difference between the action verb and the linking verb. Keep in mind, the linking verbs are the verb to be plus the verbs related to the senses. Mahdi, you want to ask a question?
Oh, no.
Okay. Karim, you want to ask a question?
No.
Okay. Let's continue. So the linking verb, keep this in mind. The linking verb will always have a word in the predicate that it links to the subject. How? Let me show you. Always it has a verb. Let's take this example. The trees are beautiful in the fall. What is the verb, guys? What is the verb?
Or.
Are. Okay.
Or.
So is it linking or
Or.
action?
Linking.
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 Okay, it's linking verb. طيب. What do we have after are? What do we have after are? Beautiful,
Beautiful.
bravo. Beautiful.
And-
Beautiful talks about what?
Trees. About the trees.
Excellent. So you see? So you see?
An
There-
adjective.
It's an adjective here. Yes, here it's an adjective. The trees are beautiful. Are is a linking verb, and the beautiful is an adjective that came after the linking verb. And beautiful talks about the subject. So you see, the linking verb here links the subject to the word after it. It links them together. So this is the subject. This is the linking verb. This is the adjective. So what do we call this adjective? If you remember that I mentioned it before when we explained the adjectives, but I said later we're going to take it. We call it predicate adjective. Okay, we call it predicate adjective because it comes after the linking verb. What do we call it, guys? What do we call it?
Predicate adjective.
Predicate adjective. Excellent. We call it predicate adjective. Bravo. Keep it in mind. Okay. So here the linking verb links the adjective to the subject. The verb are here links an adjective in the predicate with the subject. So we call the adjective predicate adjective. Let's take another example. Mr. Noel is the new teacher in the school. What is the verb? What is the verb? Is. Is it linking or action? Linking. It's linking verb. What do we have after the linking verb here? New teacher.
Predicate adjective.
No, not a predicate adjective. Pay attention. We said it's the new teacher. New teacher. Who is the new teacher?
Mr. Noel.
Mr. Noel. So new teacher. Teacher here talks about Mr. Noel.
Mr.
Notice
Noel.
something that new here describes the teacher itself, so new doesn't describe the subject. So I do not look at it. I look at the noun. Teacher is a noun. Teacher is a noun, and it's linked to the subject. It talks about the subject because we have a linking verb in the middle. Okay, so what do we call it here? Since the noun after the linking verb talks about the subject, then we call it a predicate noun. What do we call it? What do we call it?
Predicate noun.
Predicate noun. Excellent. So we have predicate
Predicate
adjective and the predicate noun. Teacher is a noun in the predicate that renames the subject. I'm giving another name for the subject, okay? I'm giving another name for the subject, so I call it, it's a noun, so I call it a predicate noun, okay? I call it a predicate noun. So you see now the linking verb, what it does, it just links the subject to the predicate. It connects them together. That's it. And notice that after the linking verb, I should have either a predicate noun or a predicate adjective that talks about the subject itself. Clear? Clear till now? Do you have any questions about the linking verb? Okay.
No.
Okay, good. Great.
No.
Okay, great. Right. Now let's move to the last type of the verb. Last type of the verb. Or what do you think if we solve a question related to the linking verbs, then we move back to the explanation. If you open your booklet, if you have it beside you, the exercises start page, they start page 44. Let's solve the exercise 8, page 44, about the linking verb. Notice something, that also the linking verbs have to work according to the subject. If the subject is singular, then I have to put a singular verb. If the subject is plural, then I have to pay attention to the verb, how to write it. Yeah, let me see who's on my list. Hala, please stay muted, and when I say your name, you unmute yourself. Hala, where are you?
Yes, miss.
Okay, Hala, can you read the exercise, the question?
Read each sentence and choose the correct linking verb. Write it on the line provided. Today's speaker is or a movie director.
Okay.
Is.
Why did you use is, not are? Why did you choose the singular verb, not the plural verb? Hala?
Because we're talking about one
One speaker, excellent,
director.
one subject. So no, one speaker. This is the subject, not the director.
One speaker, yeah.
Okay, the director here renames the speaker, but miss, notice that we talk about the subject. The subject is before the verb. So we say is. We do not move to the end of the sentence, no. Okay, thank you, ya Hala. Thank you. Kareem. Kareem, please guys be faster. Okay.
Yes.
Number 2, miss, do not say it. Directly continue with the number after it.
The student is or are eager to meet her. The student,
not student, student.
the students are.
Excellent. Are is used for the plural subject. Thank you, ya Kareem. Majid.
3 major actors. Oh no.
Number
Her
3.
most recent
Movie.
Yes, yes. Her most recent movie was where a documentary was.
Thank you, ya Majid. Saniftuni. San, you raised your hand. Can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, Malak, San, when you unmute.
Yes, sorry, I wasn't here.
Yeah. Continue, number 4.
3 major
Actors, where was narrators in the film?
Narrators in the film.
Where?
Where? Thank you, MS. Thank you. Malak? Malak?
Yes.
Yalla, number 5, please.
The film was or will be very popular last year. Was.
Was. Very popular. Pay attention. Will is also a linking verb. Sorry, be is also, when we use it alone, is a linking verb. So, was. Thank you, ya Malak. Rasha?
Yes,
Yalla, continue.
I am are hopeful that it will win an
And what?
award. I am.
I am. Thank you, ya Rasha. Thank you. Okay.
Miss,
حسين
can I?
مغني. حسين. حسين.
Miss, can I?
Yes.
Wait, guys. حسين مغني, number 7.
Her next movie will be a comedy set in Brazil.
Brazil. Her next movie
Will be.
because it didn't happen in the past. We cannot say was.
Yes.
We say will be. Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. Will here has another name. I'm going to tell you what we call it now. Be is the main verb, is the main linking verb. Okay. Ali Mroui. Ali,
Yes.
continue number 8, please.
The director appears happy with it so far.
Hmm.
Appear.
Director. I have one director.
Appears.
Appears, yes. And notice, guys, here that we have a word appear. Yes, appear doesn't include any action, so it's not an action verb, it's a linking verb. And it's related to the senses because you can see what appears in front of you. Appears. And we added us because we have one director. Thank you, ya Ali. Ali Tini. Ali Tini.
Yes.
Come on, number 9, please.
The poster looks different from her other films.
Foster. Okay. So what?
Looks.
Looks, because we're talking about only one poster. It's singular. Okay, look.
Miss, can I do the last one?
Mahdi.
The color seems much brighter than new one. The colors seem.
Seem. Excellent. They seem. They seem means also they look. Okay, good. So is everything clear about the linking verb and how it agrees with the subject also and with the tenses?
Yes.
Okay, good. Great.
Yes.
Good. So let's
Yes.
go back now to the last type of the verb. We still have something called helping and main verb. From their names, helping, please do not make noises. Let me explain everything for you. So we have helping and main verb. Whenever we have a helping, there should be a main verb. We cannot have a helping verb without a main verb. Why? Because the helping verb itself is not the main verb that tells me the main action that the subject is or was doing. It is only a helper. That's why we call it helping. It helps the main verb to do its job or to express the correct tense. So a helping verb works with the main verb. So you see the helping verb is not found alone. It needs a main verb. And it helps the main verb to help the reader understand the action that's taking place. Okay? So the helping verb helps the main verb. So main verb is the necessary verb. This is necessary. We cannot remove it. But helping verb, okay, in some cases you can remove it and you change the tense of the verb. Example.
Okay.
Elmer was using the computer. What is the verb here? Was using. Okay?
Was using.
Was using. Right. Let's see which one is the helping and which one is the main. Let's cross out one out of them. If I say Elmer was the computer, do you understand? عشان قطعت. نشوف إذا تكت بسرعة. ما مدور الغسالة ماما قوم. نشوف إذا تاك